August 3rd, 2025. The final 5 months of the year. But you know what's interesting about that? An interesting box office statistic I figured out the other day. So, Superman becomes the fourth film to pass $300 million domestically. We only had five of those in 2023 and 2024. And we've still got 5 months to go. So, yes, some movies are not doing as well as they should. We'll get into that here in a minute on LCJ Live. And others are overperforming, and there's a little bit of both. But listen, Wicked for Good is going to make more than 300 million domestically. Zootopia 2 is very likely going to do that. The first one did 341. Avatar is going to make more than $300 million domestically. So you've got those for the end of the year, and we'll see what happens in between, but we're going to get more than five, and we're already at four. So I think you got to stay as positive as possible when looking at the box office. Thanks for being here on LCJ Live. Sam B. Russell, Fantastic Four, big drop-off. I liked it, though, he says. Yeah, we'll get into that here in a second. I want to mention my friend Hank Hill here because King of the Hill returns tomorrow on Hulu. That's right, all 10 episodes drop tomorrow, Monday, August 4th, and I've seen the first three. It's very good. The episodes are very funny, and also they are right in line with the vibe and the tone of the original run of the series, plus some great story advancements, some smart decisions made comedically and emotionally when it comes to the characters, the relationships, and what happens on King of the Hill. So check it out. King of the Hill returns tomorrow on Hulu. Scott's dying. How many other movies like Together star a real life couple as a movie couple? Can't think of any more off the top of my head. Well, could you argue The Naked Gun now with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson? Are they a couple in real life? Could you argue that? Well, yes, Sam just commented that. There you go. Let's talk about this box office because your number one movie is The Fantastic Four: First Steps with $40 million. That's a huge drop from last weekend. But I'm not surprised. I knew halfway to three-quarters into the movie as I watched it on opening day, this story is not compelling enough, and this movie isn't fun and positive enough to warrant repeat business. This was a movie that's not going to do repeat business. I knew it. I felt it. Unlike Superman, which is a little more upbeat, a little more positive. Superman now about to pass Jurassic World's total. That's a movie that's had repeat business, and that has excited people to want to go on that journey again. This Fantastic Four movie is a drama, and it's kind of depressing in spots, and it's not effective. It's not very good. It's not very exciting. And so I'm not shocked that we went from $118 million down to $40 million this weekend. Its total is $198.4. That's not great. It's not. Yes, it'll pass Captain America. It's past Thunderbolts. But 66% drop. Yikes. But I'm not shocked. You could also argue because it came out close to Superman that has something to do with it. But honestly, if the Marvel fans wanted to see it again, they'd see it right away. And most of these Marvel fans do not want to see this again right away. All right, a lot of comments coming in here. Yeah, let's see. Naked Gun was so fantastic, says Pete. Look, some people will enjoy it. Older audiences will enjoy it. I saw the cinema score, the stats was like 25 plus with 76%. I'm not shocked. It's a movie that skews older. But only 17 million for The Naked Gun this weekend. Not great. And for a movie that, to me, the humor is not my cup of tea. It's not my style of humor. It's not the kind of humor I like. This broad, a lot of bathroom humor, a lot of goofy humor, random humor. And when you look at The Naked Gun, which is directed by Akiva Schaffer, who I had on the LCJ Q&A podcast for Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which was pretty funny, he did that movie. He did Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. And while Popstar worked in spots, it kind of ran out of gas. That movie had a lot of random humor that worked within that world. Chippendale Rescue Rangers had a lot of random humor that worked within that world. The random humor in The Naked Gun doesn't often fit with what's going on in that world. It's random. And to me, I don't want to laugh at that if it doesn't make sense within the context of the story and what's going on. I also think Liam Neeson is okay in the role, but not amazing. He doesn't deliver the humor, I don't think, as effective as other people are saying. So I'm not my cup of tea. That's basically what I walked out of the very short Naked Gun. It's 75 minutes plus credits. I walked out of it going, I didn't laugh. It's not my thing. MCU has aged out of people going to it multiple times. Deadpool and Wolverine. A lot of people went to that multiple times. Several of the other ones, the Spider-Man movies, people went to multiple times. They're all within the MCU. People are excited about this Tom Holland new Spider-Man suit. So yeah, there's still the repeat business, but it's not going to happen with Fantastic Four because it's a drama, and people don't want full-on dramas in their superhero movies. I don't think. Marvel's out of touch, needs to regain stuff. A lot of comments coming in here. Drew Taylor's here. A lot of people talking about, 85 minutes for Naked Gun. It's a short movie, and it still only did $17 million. Even if, lots of people, lots of showtimes per screen, even so, it still only managed that. Now, let's talk about Bad Guys 2, which I saw Friday night at a drive-in. I went to the drive-ins to see the Bad Guys 2. And I have to tell you, there were a lot of people there. There were a lot of families there, a lot of kids really into this, really excited for it. I liked it a lot more than the first one. I mean, I liked the first one, but this movie, to me, has smarter humor, funnier situations. It feels more free than the first one did. I think the first one focused so much on developing the characters in a almost serious way that it lost a little of the fun. This movie, you let go and you just go for the ride. But also what this Bad Guys 2 does very well is it advances the first film. It builds off of the first film in interesting ways. It goes back to what the first film did with some of the characters who were the real bad guys and good guys. And it takes that, it spins it a little bit, and advances it with some new characters. So I honestly think that this is a pretty smart film. It's visually very cool. There's a third act sequence. They go to space. Wow. It's glowing. And seeing it on a drive-in movie theater screen, the picture was great, the sound, all of it, you get that experience. It's just as effective to see a film at a drive-in as it is in an indoor theater around IMAX, and BTX, and RPX, all those different kinds of things, ScreenX, all the X's. The drive-in movie theater is an awesome place to watch a movie, especially with family and friends and an animated movie because all the colors just pop on the screen. So yeah, go support your drive-in theaters, and if you see Bad Guys 2, maybe go see it at a drive-in because it's fun. It's fun to do that. So the Bad Guys 2 made $22.2 million this weekend, and that's lower than what the first film opened to, which it kind of surprises me a little bit. But here's the thing: the first film opened to 24, and it went all the way to 97, a $250 million worldwide total. This is a movie that's going to benefit from word of mouth and lack of competition. You do have Grand Prix of Europe, which I'm looking forward to. It could be another fun animated racing movie at the end of the summer, but it's not going to make a lot of money. Yes, you have Freakier Friday, but a lot of young kids are not going to go to Freakier Friday. And then you've got Nobody 2 and a lot of adult films for the rest of August. Yes, Neja 2 is in there, and some families will go to that. But Labor Day weekend and beyond, even into mid-September before Gabby's Dollhouse comes out at the end of September, you don't have a lot of major family films coming out. So the Bad Guys 2 could benefit from repeat business or kids and families who didn't see it this weekend because it was a beautiful weekend in New York. Even if you didn't see it at a drive-in, maybe you had other things to do. Catching up on it later this summer, going back to see it Labor Day weekend, it could perform well. So I think Universal has to have its fingers crossed that this could still get to close to 100 million. I bet 100 million was the goal this time since it got to 97 last time. And overseas, you had markets like China, UK, and Australia that did really well with the first Bad Guys. It had small-ish opening weekends and then had legs, just like here in America, where it did very well in those places. So this is going to be interesting, but I think you could see another small drop just like the first one had next weekend. You could see Bad Guys 2 do another 15 million next weekend, and that would be very good for a film that deserves it. I think it does. We have comments here. Theaters could show Naked Gun twice or Eddington once. Yes, Eddington is basically twice the length of Naked Gun. Bad Guys 3. Yeah, I think, there have already been 2 animated specials on Netflix, holiday specials, and I think you could do a Bad Guys 3. It sets it up that way, and it could be a lot of fun. And if we get it in 2 years or 3 years and 3, 4 months from now, you could be talking, Christmas 2028. That would be fun to see a third Bad Guys movie. I would enjoy that for sure. The voice work in this, Sam Rockwell's great, as he was in the first one, as he was in Trolls World Tour, but also Alex Borstein, who is, one of the smartest in the business when it comes to the voice acting of Family Guy characters. Of course, was on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and the Lizzie McGuire movie, which is what I talked with her about when we met at the Critics' Choice Awards years ago. So her voice performance in this is great as the commissioner, and the entire voice cast very good. So it's a fun time. It's a fun time. If kids love the first one, if you got kids, grandkids, family members, and they like the first one, I think they're going to like this one even more because it out of the gate has that big car chase action scene, kind of prequel scene. Then it gets into the vibe of the movie. There's a wrestling section. There's the moon section. There's other surprises along the way. So I recommend The Bad Guys 2. Congrats to DreamWorks. Fingers crossed it gets to 100 million and that it has small drops over the next several weeks. Let's see. Freakier Friday box office. We'll get into that in a little bit. Number 4 this weekend is Superman. It added 13.9 million. It's at 316.2. Number 5 is Jurassic World Rebirth, which made 8.7. It's at 317.6. It is not going to get to that 376 million of Jurassic World Dominion. So we're down a distance from the last one. Everybody wanted to see it out of the gate, same thing. But again, it's about repeat business. Even if it has small drops, 345, I think, is the max. And it might not even get to that. But it'll depend on how the next several weeks go. Number 6 is Together, the horror movie with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. It made 6.8 million in the 3-day, 10.9 million in the 5-day. That is even with the extended open of Neon's Ferrari, which did 10.8 million in 2023. And for the 3-day weekend, the third biggest 3-day weekend ever open for a Neon movie behind Oz Perkins' films Long Legs and The Monkey. Number 7 is F1, which added 4.1 million. It's at 173.3 domestically, and worldwide, it has officially become Brad Pitt's biggest movie ever. Not adjusted for inflation, but it passed World War Z. It's at over $545 million worldwide. Number 8, I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2.7 million. It's at 29.4 as Sony Columbia continues to have not such a great year. Number 9 is Smurfs, which took a bit of a drop with Bad Guys 2 out. Only 1.8 million in this third weekend for Smurfs. It's only made 28.5 million. I think Paramount will get it to 30, but not even close to the 45 million of 2017 Smurfs: The Lost Village. And that's too bad. If you want my conversation with Chris Miller, the director, go to lcj.podbean.com. He was Oscar nominated for Puss in Boots. Put a lot of work and effort into the Smurfs film, but it's not doing huge numbers here in North America. And number 10 this weekend is How to Train Your Dragon, which added 1.4 million. It's at 260.4, and it's going to pass on the Universal all-time chart, How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000, not adjusted for inflation. All right, let's see. This weekend, Weapons is coming out. I don't know if I'm going to see it. We'll see. But I've heard pretty good things. Freakier Friday, same thing. It looks so bad, but some of the reviews-ish have been positive so far. We'll see. I didn't love the first one. I support the Lindsay Lohan-assance, the return of Lindsay Lohan to doing lots of movies, but I don't know. And it's close to 2 hours. I mean, good gosh. Also this weekend, Scarlett Johansson, Kristen Scott Thomas, new film called My Mother's Wedding. That'll be in limited to wide-ish release. And then opening tomorrow, and then more showings Tuesday, and then officially opening on Wednesday, is the Angel Studios PG-rated movie called Sketch, which I have seen. I spoke with director Seth Worley. You want that interview? Go to lcj.podbean.com and animationscoop.com. Sketch is about a girl who draws in a notebook, and through various circumstances, the drawings come to life. And they are unique creatures, very interesting looking. We talk about that, Seth and I, in the conversation. And Tony Hale plays her father. The girl has a brother as well. and Darcy Carden plays Tony Hill's sister, who's a real estate agent. And I screened this movie a while back, like almost 2 months ago now, and I talked with Seth recently, and the origins of the movie are very interesting. He based it off of his short film, but he took some other ideas from real life concepts, and then made this film that premiered at Toronto last September, got acquired by Angel Studios, and is now coming out. So you do have this as a family movie. What I will say is this: I think the movie's very interesting, and it's got some humor and it's got some effective drama. If I were a parent or a grandparent, I would not take a kid under the age of 10 to go see Sketch. And I'll tell you why. Not because it's a bad movie, but because it's really not appropriate for them. I mean, this is how I started in January 2006, reviewing the movies and telling parents, are these films appropriate for your children and what age groups? There are a lot of action scenes in Sketch, especially in the third act. And the violence is done in a way such that it's really intense for young kids. It's almost Power Rangers-ish, and beyond that, there are references to Power Rangers in it and other things. So I do not think that Sketch is appropriate for kids under the age of 10, at least. I would say you got to be at least in 5th grade or 6th grade or beyond to go see Sketch. If you're younger than 10, you take them to Bad Guys 2, and you take the whole family to Bad Guys 2. Certainly. But I would not take kids under the age of 10 to Sketch. And it's a little different, a different kind of movie than the vibe of what you'd get from an Angel Studios film. There's a little bit of a faith component, but it's not a huge element of the movie by any means. The film's about an hour and a half. But I would say it's appropriate for kids 10 and up. So that is my thoughts on Sketch. And then we have Iron Man and His Awesome Friends. That premieres next Monday on Disney Junior, next Tuesday on Disney Plus, so August 11 and 12. And I talked with the makers of Marvel's Iron Man and His Awesome Friends. New animated series. We talk about John Stamos being in the voice cast, taking these Marvel characters, which ones they could use, which ones they couldn't use. We get into that a little bit, working with Marvel, working with Disney on this new show for families. So check out that conversation tomorrow, lcj.podbean.com and animationscoop.com. Drew Taylor, Sketch is fine for everybody. Come on, I disagree. I disagree with that. I think if you take a 6 or a 7-year-old to Sketch, they're going to find it, it's a little too violent, a little inappropriate for them, a little scary. Yeah, that's my vibe. I was a little surprised the way some of the scenes were going, and I can see why Angel acquired it for the other reasons that the movie has, the themes and everything, but also mature themes and subject matter that movie has, especially early on. Not just about death, but about the thoughts that kids have and why she was sketching things out and why doing that. That's a little mature. That's a little intense for the thoughts of young kids. I have a young cousin, and I'm thinking about that and thinking about the Bad Guys 2 and all that. So yeah, that's my thoughts to that. Drew says it felt like early Spielberg movies in the sense it gave you a thrill, heartwarming, and full of wonder. I agree with you, Drew, that it does feel old-fashioned in that way, and I think Seth was inspired by that vibe. There's no question. It's got a Stranger Things vibe. It's got a Goonies vibe of these kids who are working together to figure this out. But yeah, so that's Sketch, and it interestingly opens tomorrow on a Monday at 5 o'clock in theaters nationwide, along with Tuesday. It's very interesting that they're doing the showings of that like that, with the official open on Wednesday. All right, that's it for today's episode of LCJ Live. When we're back here next Sunday, we'll take a look at Freakier Friday, and if it can do the 70 million that I keep saying that I think it's going to do this weekend, it's at least going to do 50, 60, maybe more. I think this is a movie lots of people want to see right away. We'll see how Weapons does as well. We will preview Nobody 2 opening up. How will that do compared to the first movie, which came out early on in the COVID world and did okay, but not a lot. But here comes the sequel. We'll preview that and some more movies coming out for the month of August, some more interviews. And I was in studio for something on Thursday that I'll be able to share with you later this summer. Did a very cool thing that I'm looking forward to sharing with all of you. So thank you so much. Love the shirt, says Christian. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here for today's episode of LCJ Live. Watch King of the Hill on Hulu tomorrow and go to lights-camera-jackson.com, lcj.podbean.com, animationscoop.com, toofast2films.com, youtube.com/lightscamerajackson. You're here. Subscribe to the channel. We're live every Sunday at noon Eastern. And follow me on X at LCJ Reviews and Instagram at LightsCamJackson. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you, Sam, Pete, Drew, everybody who was here today watching the show live. And join us again here next time on LCJ Live. Have a good week. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.